Good morning, and welcome to Your Business in Digital. I am Tamara Moloui, founder of Monovan Digital Marketing Solutions, where we help businesses navigate the digital landscape. So we are here at Your Business in Digital, and what do we do here at Your Business in Digital? We really help you translate your business to digital, because we understand that it's not easy, right? There are a lot of things to consider. You have to consider the finance side of things. You have to consider sales and pricing. You have to consider operations as well as marketing your business. So what we have here is an awesome team with an expert from every subject area I just mentioned here to talk about that and help us really translate our business to digital so we can achieve our business goals. I'm going to pass it over to them to introduce themselves. And today we have an awesome conversation. So introduce yourself, starting with, oh man, you guys are sometimes mixed up. How did that happen? So anyway, start with Michelle. Introduce yourself, tell the people who you are. Let's move it around the room, and then let's start the day.
Unmuting. Here we go. Happy hump day, everyone. I am Michelle Gordon with Lanyap Digital Consulting. I am here as your sales and pricing pain reliever, looking to help you to find your little something extra, to identify your blind spots, and to help your business move that revenue in a consistent and sustainable way. So welcome in. This is going to be a party of five today, and I am so looking forward to the conversation that we'll have. So get your coffee, people. Come on, let's get this day started.
Good morning, everyone. I am Andrea Ragu. I am your virtual CFO. I am the voice of your money, and I help you make better financial decisions about your business and how to maximize the money for profitability. Welcome to the show.
And good morning, everyone. I am Michael Wilshire, Director of Business Development and Sales at Monovan Digital. We're always here to help you navigate the challenging digital landscape and drive revenue for your business and make sure you're able to measure the impact of your efforts. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Andrea, I saw what you did there. I saw what you did there. Voice of your money. Just to let you guys know, that happened 2 minutes ago backstage. And she's like, bomb in my talk track. I mean, Andrea, you keep elevating the game. Love that. Oh, that was so good. All right.
Change it up.
You did. That was a good one. So, but today is awesome. Today we are actually bringing an amazing business to the stage. We are bringing one of the co-owners of Shop Caribe and Roxanne Colthrust. This is going to be such an awesome conversation because they are based in Trinidad and they are really helping to move the economy forward, I say, and they're using digital to do that. So I'm going to bring Roxanne to the stage. She's going to introduce herself, tell you a little bit about her business, and then we're going to jump in because we always want to understand how these businesses are really translating and moving their business to digital. And they have a really, really great story. So yay. Hello, welcome, Roxanne. Welcome to the show. How are you this morning? Unmute yourself.
Good morning.
So I want you to unmute on Clubhouse. There's a lot of muting and unmuting because, you know, we broadcast across like Facebook, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Clubhouse. So unmute yourself on Clubhouse so they can hear you in there. There you
go. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Wow. What a fantastic panel.
Yes, absolutely. So Roxanne, introduce yourself, tell the people who you are, and tell them a little bit about Shop Caribe.
Sure. Co-director for Shop Caribe. When people ask me, when was Shop Caribe born? You know, Shop Caribe is a COVID baby, right? Born in the midst of this pandemic. It's an idea that we had for quite a while. But we decided, you know what, let's push this forward. When we realized people were all shut down, our entrepreneurs, our vendors, all the pop-up shops, all the cruise ship complex, everything was closed. We decided, you know what, people still want these products. There's still a demand for Caribbean-made items. So let's give it to the people. My background is in communications, events, conferencing. My husband's is in digital. He's a web developer, a web guru. And the idea was, you know what, let's marry these two things. Married in life, married in business. So we decided, you know what, e-commerce, these small vendors, these small organizations need e-commerce to get to the next level, right? So we pushed it forward and it's now 2 years old. It's purely artisanal products made in the Caribbean, fashion, art, We even have bath and beauty products, candles, lifestyle, decor, you name it. I can go on. The list is pretty long. We have more than 3,000 products on the website right now available for sale. Hey, thanks for the ticker tape and thing. I liking this. Money Van, go Money Van.
We're fancy.
Wow.
And there's the URL.
This is a new energy for the morning.
New energy for the morning. Of course, we will definitely go to the site and take a look at some of the things. But so Roxanne, so talk about that, right? So you guys have a strong background in digital. As you mentioned, your husband, he builds websites and, there's a strong digital background. You have a strong PR background. But as you started looking to move into the US market, and really get visibility for these products, what were some of the things you had to start to consider that was a little bit outside of what you guys usually do, and to really make that transition?
Certainly. I mean, the digital marketing is different, right? PR, you get it all perfect. You do it 10 times. You make sure it's approved before you can go forward. But in this digital world, we can now do things, put it out there, get feedback, tweak it, come back again, send it out again, put it, you get that second chance. You get that opportunity to just keep addressing and evolving what you're doing. So we've been able to do that over the last 2 years. We've been doing some very strategic marketing. In the first instance, we're trying to capture a diaspora audience. And then we even focus it a little more and said, you know what, we're focusing our spend on a US market. So we're trying to get interest from the US market in buying these items. They're closest to us, right? And then even things like we've worked out our shipping and logistics. So we have a fantastic relationship with DHL to get products out there. But of course, the closer the destination is going to, the less the price. So we've been working to make sure that we focus on that US market, get in there. Our percentage is growing it went from 10% of our audience from the US to 15%. Now tomorrow, with your help, it's gotten up to about 32%. So we're growing step to step to step to step.
You have me blushing a little bit. But the fact that you guys have actually figured out, hey, here's what we need to do. We need to focus on this market and get these products out there and really are moving in that direction is great, right? Because it shows that you have a strategy in place and that you're really moving on executing that strategy. So talk a little bit about, I think the shipping thing and the vendors, right? Talk a little bit about working, because what you're doing at the market, you have a marketplace and you're pulling vendors together. So it's a lot of things you have to pull together: images, content, the shipping, all those things, right? To consider. On top of that, building separately the Shop Caribe brand, making sure there's quality assurance of product. Like, there's so many things. So because that's completely different from digital, but all those things have to translate into digital as well. So talk a little bit about that.
Oh, fantastic question. We spent the first year doing a lot of that, doing a lot of working with the vendors, trying to ensure that their pictures were, truly representative. We did videos, we did articles, we did presentations with groups, trying to get them all to a point where to showcase their products. Many of them have really high quality products, but their photos weren't saying that. The grainy picture with the poor lighting kind of thing, they weren't saying that. We even worked with them on things like their descriptions, the description of your product, right? So we spent a lot of time in our first year kind of cleaning up all of that. I mean, and it's not perfect right now, right? We still give, the vendors each have their own leeway to, craft their descriptions for their products and everything. But they've been growing, right? And it's something that is, and what I love about digital is that you can, 2:00 in the morning, you want to make an edit to something, hey, go do it. You don't need all of that hand holding kind of thing. So we spend a lot of time on that kind of area, growing, developing, evolving, revolutionizing things. There's some vendors, we say, you know what, I need you to switch this up. Maybe you do more packages. Instead of trying to sell one pack of tamarind ball for $3 US, You know, when the shipping is going to cost you 20 US, let's do a package, let's do a bundle, you know? So we're pushing people along. It's really been a bit of a social enterprise for me. It is taking, you know, the micro entrepreneur, right? One person, two people max, kind of that small, micro, medium entrepreneur, and just kind of giving them a little boost. That's all it is, you know? It's a little boost. It is. Most of these entrepreneurs would not have had access to taking payments online, you know, the e-commerce side. They would not have had access to being able to ship a package out of the country easily. You know, we handle all of that. So in terms of logistics, we handle all the documentation that has to be done for DHL, and we send it to the vendor. They print it off, and then it goes out. You know, when DHL comes to the door, a door-to-door service. Can you believe that? DHL is going to vendor doors. I mean, we had a new vendor. She joined on. She lives in La Brea. I don't know if you all are familiar with La Brea. Is like in the south of the country, right? South of Trinidad. And she's like, is DHL going to come to me? I was like, yeah, we have faith in them. Yes, they're going to come get it, you know? And she's like, are you sure? I could go drop it off, you know? It's like, yeah, fine. You know, that is the norm, but we're trying to push the envelope, right? We're trying to get to a new level of business operations, and that's what we're doing. So let's see how it goes. And my phone is ringing. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to mute and come off.
That's okay. We're on a live. Stuff happens all the time. We are on a live. Stuff happens all the time. Let me see if I can. All right. So, all right. I'm not going to hog the questions because I know everyone is chomping at the bit, but here we go. So we have Dana who's saying all things Caribbean boom. So we're getting comments already. Love that. How do you handle shipping from countries other than Trinidad? So when Roxanne comes back, we'll have her answer that question because that one is a big question. So Roxanne, we have some questions so we're some good comments, right? So boom, all things Caribbean, boom. And then Dana is asking, how do you handle shipping from countries other than Trinidad?
Yes, that's a very good question. You know, so we've had to actually create DHL accounts in different islands, different countries.
To unmute yourself on Clubhouse.
Right, got it. Yes? Yeah, so we've actually had to create DHL accounts in different countries, right? And the point we're at now is getting each of those countries to a sustainable level so that we have at least 10, 15 vendors in each country. And that's the next step. That's the next critical scaling up step that we're at now.
All right, so I'm not going to hog the questions. Michelle is like, everyone's chomping at the bit to ask questions. Michelle, I'm going to pass it over to you to go for it.
Roxanne, I love your energy. I really love your energy and everything that you're doing with Shop Caribe and not just as a small, business for you, the number of people that you are making their dream a reality and helping their home environment and their family move forward by allowing them an avenue to make money and to promote their dreams. So thank you for doing this. This is a huge undertaking. My question for you, I've been looking at the site and there is a lot here but what I love about it is that it's not intimidating. It is inviting. It helps to bring people through the sales cycle to know, like, and trust what you are trying to present with so many different personalities that you have to commandeer to make this a seamless experience for the buying public. When you walk through this, and I'm sure Michael's got a whole lot to say on this because my brain just got really confused and overwhelmed, frankly, as I was looking at this and trying to imagine the back end of trying to manage all of this. But the theme of what you're trying to accomplish, how did you manage to keep in mind what you, Roxanne, your husband was trying to put forward as Shop Caribe in a seamless view with so many personalities that have come to the table to get that impression across from the moment you walk in, get them through the site to where they want to go to the point of what I call yes. The point of yes, that they're comfortable, they get what you're trying to say, they find the product that they want, and they move that forward and click that buy, and then invite other people in to do it. So if you don't mind talking to the general public, you're doing this on a mass scale, and most people are trying to do this for their just tiny group of products, but you've excelled in a way that you're teaching a master's class about how you have this listed. Do you mind talking about that a little bit and how you structured that and what your thought process was?
Ooh, very, very loaded question. I mean, there's so many angles that we can go into. The idea behind it was about these core areas, the fashion, the art, the bath and beauty products, the jewelry, the fashion accessories. And then it grew, and it started to grow when we started to just open our minds to, well, what can this mean? So it's things like we now have some books, some coffee table books that are doing really well. One is a pan book. The other one is on Minchell, and his life and the work that he's done. And you ask a question about, how do we corral all this content, right? And it's the filtering. We were Philip and I were very conscious, when we started with 15 vendors. We're now at 168, right? So we're very conscious that we have to kind of pull people into our framework. We want high quality, we want finished items, we want artisanal made quality items. Somebody asked me the other day, so how do you deal with returns? I said, you know what, we've only had 2 returns over the 2-year period, and one of the returns was because the size was a little, cut a little small, and she wanted a larger size. We just sent her the larger size. So the idea behind it really is that filtering. There's a nice filtering system there where you can either filter by cost, you can filter by product, if it is accessory, whatever category you want to. But we put a lot of thinking into that structuring. Your thought about making it appealing, making the site attractive enough that people are engaged but don't feel intimidated. That was a nice little double-edged sword that we had to kind of work with, and we still keep tweaking it up to last week with a meeting with Money Van. We actually made some edits. So for us, it's a continuous opportunity to just make edits, just make changes, just fix, just touch, just tweak, and that's what we're going to have. We've done some interesting blog articles, and people don't like to read these days, right? Tell me, give me the highlights, give me the 5-cent story kind of thing, give me the 5-cent version. But we've tried to create some blog articles that just kind of push people in particular directions. We also have a chat feature on the site. And you wouldn't believe, people just come in and they say, hey, what can I use to remove dark spots? That's it. And whoever's manning the chat has to be like on it to figure out what products to send them, So nice little elements like that we try to incorporate, because the customer wants ease, right? You don't want to go anywhere and it's like, checking. It's like you want to be able to just kind of dive into something, find what I want, add to cart, let's go.
What I love about what you're doing here, because what we've often talked about in this room is identifying your people, know who your people are, who your core target audience is that you're trying to attract. What I find fascinating and what you're teaching a master's class in is that you had 2 audiences that you had to find your people in, who you wanted to have join your business to have their products advertised. So your core set of people that you had to bring in and qualify them as being the appropriate businesses that you wanted to have their products on your site because they felt like they represented what you wanted to display for Shop Caribe. And that's a whole exhaustive job in itself, I would imagine, and understanding, yes, I want their product, their spot product speak to me, but does their business speak to what I want to have displayed for Shop Caribe? And then also on the other side is, are their people your people? The people that you're trying to attract in. So that dual component was really important at the price points that you wanted to display to bring that specific audience in that might also cross-sell into something else. What I love about the shop and the way that you are showing the buying journey on the website is extremely simple and easy for people to not only absorb, but visually appealing, and to have a trusting place as soon as they come onto the site. You make it really easy for them to, amongst the numerous products and businesses that you have, to categorize themselves, so self-qualify themselves if they have a question, to move them along the sales cycle. And also, like you said, that chat box is there and comforting, and people want that these days, but it's not overwhelming. It's there to say, oh, in case you have something, but also before you check out, I've got an FAQ for you as well. Let me help you simply answer some of the questions that may naturally come so that doesn't disrupt the sales process as well. So as I've been navigating through, you are making that, you're bringing them in from the very beginning, but you're constantly taking them along the path to say, let me give you a bit more information. Let me help you buy with your eyes and then justify this later on. Let me also say, in case you have something else you want, let me help cross-sell you to something to increase that sales value, keep them perhaps with that business or a separate business, so you're making that a lot stickier, but you're making it so that it's not disruptive. It is the continuity is there in a very modified way that helps you to move the sales process along, but you get them there fast. And that's a very difficult thing that you have managed to accomplish with Shop Caribe. So thank you. I appreciate that what you put up there, and I can only imagine the sleepless nights that you've had trying to bring this to reality, because this is no tiny feat that you've accomplished there, Roxanne.
Thank you. I mean, yes, it's quite a lot, and making sure you alluded to the back end, the storage, keeping all these photos and content straight is huge. It's a huge undertaking, but it's also the journey for us has been about helping the entrepreneur, helping them to be able to get to another level. I would love all pop-ups, and I would go out shopping, and these vendors are, you have your little table and your little space kind of thing, and the place is warm and it's, and you're uncomfortable, and you're trying to sell, right? So you have to make the products, and now you're trying to sell the products, and, so we felt that we wanted to elevate, how the entrepreneur feels, and one of the early sales in the first kind of 4 months of having Shop Caribe live, a vendor called and she's like, oh my gosh, this feels fantastic. I was able to I got an order, I made the product, I packaged it, with things that they love to do, right? That's the part that they love to do. They love the creative side. They make the things, I put it together, and then the courier came and got it. I didn't have to do that other part about, going here, come so, go by the customer not there. I didn't have to do that part. So I could focus on my creative. I can focus on mastering this element of it. And that's what we want, we want to push the envelope. We want to help entrepreneurs to be able to say, let me be the best that I can be. Sometimes we expect entrepreneurs to be all the things, right? You want them to market, you want them to this, you want them to interact with the bank. Our vendors, your order's made, the customer pays for the item. Once you deliver it, once you send it off, and we ensure that it's been delivered, your money is put directly into your bank account. Yeah? And that's harnessing digital, right? We talk about fintech and all that kind of stuff, but really the MSME, the micro, small, and medium-sized entrepreneur just wants their money in their bank account.
Yeah.
Just put it in just put it in there for me. So that's where we're at. And thank you for seeing it. Thank you for seeing it.
I have one follow-up question, Tamara, if you don't mind, and then I'll turn this back over to you. Here's what I really want, if you don't mind speaking to how you have made the experience good for your vendor partners, the partners that make this a reality, because you just succinctly spoke through their feeling when they're, and they're, because they find it easy to work with, they are understanding the vision for it, they're able to stay in their creative space, they want to continue to work with you and move their business forward. And that's key for your business's survivability, because that's less people, that you keep them in your continuum is what we're calling it. You're able to keep them in their happy space. Their relationship is frictionless. Therefore, because they're happy, they're providing the goods and services that you need to keep your business going. And therefore, that makes it easy for you to also have the consumer buy on the other side. And that you've developed a process to make that sales journey work for both the people that you have as your partner, as well as your buying people that are clicking the yes, keep their business going. That's not a small feat. That's not a small feat, and you're doing in duplicate. So you have a repetitive process that you keep going, and so that it makes that process easier as things go along. So if you make it look easy, but there's work behind the scenes that you've found to accommodate that in your personality, because you're very service oriented and you have that way about you that makes you doing it. But you've also got muscle behind the scenes too that's helping that to move forward, because I know it takes a village to get this done. It takes a lot of work to get this done. So what you're displaying is that there's always something moving forward in the process to make it frictionless, to make it visible, to make it seamless across the board for your partners as well as the buying community. And as people are thinking through this and you're looking for that blind spot to make sure that there is no fault in it, you've identified a number of them as you've gone through to make it easy. You've talked about that quickly. How do you make this work so that somebody comes to do something for me, the person that you're partnering with? And then you've also spoken to immediately, hello, buying community, I'm going to make it easy for you too. And here's how I'm going to do it. So you've calmed that down. You've given them that trusting space. And you said, let me move this obstacle out of the way to get that sale to happen. So you've identified that blind spot. And you've also given your something extra, what your lanyard is, by saying, let me help you on both ends. And that's your thing that you're moving forward, that you as your business, you found it and you've worked it and excelled at it. And it's not, I mean, it just made it sound simple, but you have a method to your success that made that move forward. So I just wanted to find a way in your business in digital mode and what we're here for, to pull out that sales and that pricing piece that you've identified, and why we have you here today to tell the people how they can do it as well. So that's it for me.
Pricing is something that we're still working through. We look at some of the products that the vendors have and we're like, this could probably get a little higher price, But we've left things as they are, because you want to use this period, this startup period, this 2-3 year period to test the waters, right? You want to be able to get that repeat customer. That customer says, oh, wow, body butter for $5 US. Yeah, I'll take it. And I'll do a subscription and I'll take it more again and again and again. So we want to get there, right? The shipping has been the challenge, right? Getting things out of the Caribbean. We've been able to do it in about a 5-day period, DHL takes things out for us. But we see things like, if something has to get to St. Kitts Nevis, it has to go up to Miami and then come back down, and so that affects the time frame, right? So we've been able to we're seeing some things. There's some things that we've been, I've even written like a white paper on things like your certificate of origin, So one of the main things is that if for countries where customs and taxes are applied to external products, if you have a certificate of origin, you don't have to, you won't be charged any taxes, customs and taxes on your product, on something coming into, so let's say a product, package from Shop Caribe coming into Canada is going to attract customs duties and taxes, right? But if you have this certificate of origin, you're okay, right? Because, you know, certain trade and treaty agreements and stuff. So it's like it's a chicken and egg, because our small vendors don't have the wherewithal to go get this certificate of origin, right? Because it means you have to have, you know, somebody from a particular organization, Export TT, come to your location, see what you're making, assess you, you know, you have to pay something, and, you know, there's steps. So they haven't done that. So what keeps happening is that, you know, we get, you know, a package getting into the country gets duties and taxes. And who pays that? The customer. So the customer says, well, I'll pay it this time because it's here. But so that's a challenge to that repeat purchase, right? And those are some of the things that we have to kind of work, fight, you know, appease, you know, people like, you know, at the level of CARICOM kind of thing, to make easier for that small entrepreneur. You know, the guy who has a container of whatever go into Canada, go into the States, go into the UK, he's okay, because he'll say, yeah, I can pay, you know, certificate of origin, $1,000. Yeah, of course I could pay that. But the smaller operator is on the other side now, just trying to get products out of the country. And, you know, we've even seen another little challenge is that, you know, a lot of our fashion vendors may have things like that they add on to their items. So they might have an outfit, they might have a dress that is hand painted, right? Mostly the Caribbean element, but then they might have some kind of applique coming around the neck or beading that they have to import. And sometimes importing those things costs quite a bit. So it's you know, we find ourselves in a position where we're trying to also be advocates for entrepreneurs, you know, to try to find, you know, how do we now get people to listen, get people to understand where the entrepreneur is at, where these small, and not just an entrepreneur, you know, who has money or whatever to spend, the small entrepreneur, the people who have been at the mercy of COVID. You know, I know vendors who've had to go out there and take jobs, start, you know, little small food businesses just to make ends meet during this time. But we have to now, you know, we're using the digital experience to try to get them back to somewhere where they are, you know, earning foreign income.
Oh, Roxanne, we love that. Let me mute you here on Clubhouse, because I know there's a lot of Dana is saying, Roxanne, I love what you're doing. I can think of so many businesses regionally who need access to your services. Having to pay to clear customs is a real challenge, especially in the Caribbean. So that's huge. So all right. So I know Andrea is like, Andrea's like, and I know you have to leave early today, Andrea. So I know you have a lot of questions. We're in your neck of the woods with Roxanne. So my neck of the woods too, Michael's neck of the woods too, but you know, Andrea's a little bit more local. So go for it, Andrea. What are your questions?
Oh my gosh, where do I start? But what I'm listening to you. I went on the sites and I'm interpreting all what you're saying. And what I'm seeing is efficiency for small business. If you know, efficiencies that a small business cannot achieve by on its own. They cannot drum up the numbers to make the sending of a package worthwhile. So it's almost like this cooperative community that you found. And if you know, in Caribbean credit unions, cooperatives, that's a big thing for us, right? You know, and it's almost like you found this cooperative of entrepreneurs who are saying, here, if we come together and everybody put their stuff on this shipment, you know, we could benefit, right? We won't have to pay. So I'm definitely seeing, from a cost perspective, I'm seeing where you've removed the barriers for small businesses in order to get to that next level, as you call it, to export their items. Because I see it here. I know there's a thrust here in Trinidad to help the entrepreneurs get their stuff out there. You mentioned Export TT. We have all these different associations, trying to do their best in their corners. But there's only so much that could be done for the micro and the MSME, right? They just don't have the numbers. So I'm seeing from the entrepreneur side, there's some definite cost removal from the entrepreneur. But what I want to understand is, so where are you making your money, right? What is the revenue coming from? Because you're being pulled at two sides, as Michelle described it. You're being pulled at two sides. You have to satisfy the vendor and you have to satisfy the customer. So tell me a bit about exactly what is your revenue line.
What exactly is our revenue line? That's a very good question. So we do take a commission on all sales, 20%. So everything that's sold through the site, there's a 20% that comes back that we use for marketing. So that's one element. We have gone out for some international grant funding, and that we've been able to use in particular areas for international marketing. We spent quite a bit on that, so that grant funding is critical. And then the pavilions that I mentioned that we've been creating, that's also another source of income. Another area that we're moving into are some subscription boxes. So the idea is, rolling into, and we talked today is about the holiday season. So it's really to roll that out in terms of these subscription boxes. It's like, and we're trying to find that sweet spot of a price point, if it's 99 US, 95 US, 150 US kind of thing. But we have some really nice products. And I wonder if this is close enough for you to see, right? You can get a sampling of everything, bath and beauty items, clothes, t-shirts, our pan book, you name it. We're trying to create that. So the idea first, when you're doing this kind of a social enterprise, the first 2 years, you're not going to make any, you're not making any money. So we've been actually from other sources trying to put money into it to make it work, right? And we're getting to a mass point. We have about 3,000 products on the site, right? I mentioned 168 vendors. So one of the key things that we've been working with vendors is to promote their e-store, their Shop Caribe e-store, as their main source, as their main focal point, when they're trying to get people to buy from them, And there is a little bit of it's a bit of a struggle, because, and we've all been there, the ego comes in the way a little bit. You think, oh, this is my product. No, I'm not going to promote my Shop Caribe store, because then I'm promoting Shop Caribe. But it's like, no, that's how people are going to find you. Your ultimate goal is for people to find you and your products. And when you put your URL with your e-store, yes, it starts with Shop Caribe, but they're coming to you, So that is a critical element for us. And another source of income that we've been working towards is, some more of that grant funding. Grant funding is critical, right? To be able to push forward, particularly the scaling up that we want to do. You mentioned about international shipping. One of the things that we have on the drawing board to do is to do like bulk shipping to the US. So if we bulk ship to the US, then we can take advantage. Yeah, so we can do $5 shipping anywhere in the US if we have everything there in the US. So that's part of our growth, right? That's part of the next steps for it is that. But I want to be able to, pay the vendor for the items that we're taking from them. Because if I'm a small vendor and you're going to take 10 of my dresses to go ship to the US to park up until there's a purchase, that's a little tough for me, So we are very, very mindful of, where entrepreneurs are and how they're operating, and, the fact that things are close, things are tight, and we want to just make things a little easier for them. So we've gone out for some, cross your fingers, say some prayers for us. We got out for some funding to do some big steps.
Yeah, I love that. I love that you're saying that you're looking towards different sources of income. You know, grants are a great source. But of course, I wouldn't be a CFO. I didn't tell you grants should be temporary. We should not be building our business, based on grants on the hope of that should just help you get from one point to the next, right? But definitely looking for that supplemental is important because like you said there just now, that if you want to do the bulk buying or the bulk selling, is you have to consider the entrepreneur in the end because from their side, that's a cash flow problem immediately, right? Because they would have put out the money to put the product out there, and then they on the back end waiting, sitting and waiting, so they don't know, am I going to get, is it going to sell in a month? Is it going to sell in 2 months? So it's almost like you have the weight, you have their financial burden to consider as well, So I would say that that's a tremendous financial burden to bear. But it's funny that you said, you're taking the 10%, so your revenue is the 10%. But I'm listening and I'm saying, but it's so much more than that because you spoke about very early on. You spoke about how much you actually help the entrepreneur. You actually the pictures and the coaching, the coaching and the advice. And I'm like, but as money, is it 10% enough? Is it for entrepreneur that comes to you and you basically, hand holding and doing all of that, 10% to only take 10% of a sale when it eventually happens, right? To take it is 20, right? To take it when it eventually happens. I mean, you've coached this person and then they probably don't meet their sale till 4 months later. I said I'm the voice of money. So I'm looking at it and I'm like, I'm seeing some gaps there with, the money. But I guess, all this is part of the digital talk that we're talking. These are the things that we have to consider when we're talking about your business in digital. These are just the realities of the game, right? You want to sell in digital, no problem. But these are the things that have to be considered. So I just want to say, congrats. I went on the site and I'm looking at it and I really, it's a really nice site. I look at it and I listen. I look at it and I hear you talk and I'm thinking, oh, she's the Amazon of the Caribbean. Like she's right. It's like where you go to Amazon for the Caribbean, you go and you get your stuff and you get it shipped. And I know it's probably really our audience over there, especially our trainees that go over there, they miss they homesick for everything. Am I there? Oh, yeah. I missed you guys for a second. There. So I'm just saying, I looked at it and I was like, oh my God, she's the Amazon of the Caribbean. And I feel next time anybody asks me to bring something, I'll just say, oh, why don't you go Shop Caribe and order yourself? Asking people to bring things in suitcase. All right, so that's it from my. So thanks so much for that element of your finance.
I love that. But, Andrea, just to add to that, I think, just to not in their defense from a finance standpoint, but I think this is one of these businesses that when we consider what the long-term, growth and revenue can be, and then they're literally taking the Caribbean on their back and saying, we're giving you an infrastructure. We're giving you the things that you don't have because we see profitability 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Because when the sales start to move in the right direction with the money that they're using that money for marketing, right? So as they look through the process, they will be able to recoup over time that revenue. And I think that's going to be different. And the other thing is that what they're doing, they're also first. And I want to kind of, I know Philip is on the call, so I want to say not the Amazon of the Caribbean, because Amazon sells any and everything, right? We really want to elevate Shop Caribe to be the best. Everything on Shop Caribe is second to none. So we want to elevate it to be the best. So it is really a sophisticated marketplace, and adds a little bit more. Amazon is one of those things where you can definitely find that product where it's just a lot of everything that people buy from China. And that's not what we're doing here. There are vendors on there that are, buying materials from Italy and creating really, really great product that is like close to a Louis Vuitton type product. Bene Caribe, I just showed the website, they're, a huge brand. Anya Ayung Chi, they're brands that are also on Shop Caribe. Monovan Digital is definitely a fan of this business, and we've been working with this business for a long time. So we cannot say the Amazon of the Caribbean. Philip is twitching in the background.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
So, Mike, I'm going to pass it over to you. Andrea, I know you have to leave. But this is definitely a proud moment for us. I know you have to leave in a little bit. So just let us know when you're leaving. And of course, we'll do our outro. I'll make sure and do your outro. So, Mike, what are your questions for Roxanne?
So, well, first of all, I just say, Roxanne, amazing job. You're live again, right? So we're gonna poke some things here. So you talked a lot about, we started off this morning really talking about the infrastructure you've built, the digital, how you've leveraged the digital to corral all these vendors to be that aggregator. So let's go to the marketing. Tamara just mentioned it. We are at the marketing now. So there's a challenge, as you said, you've got to market, all these vendors, all these products, and you've got to cycle it, you've got to find a way. You had some infrastructure in place. So let's talk about, I want you to just talk about some of the tools you had in place that you were using and what's changed in how you're using them.
So many tools, and we started off very strongly, focusing on the website, trying to get it perfect, right? Trying to make it clean, sleek, easy to access, easy to use, making sure the payments are going through. So lots of things there, focal point for us. But then as we started to grow, we started to, try to incorporate, Instagram, we find that people looking, they're scrolling, they're looking, right? And we started to try to build out our Instagram account. And look, interestingly enough, we just hit 1,600, followers on Instagram. We need a little, glass of wine for that one. No, not it's 8 o'clock in the morning, right? But
it's 8 o'clock p.m. somewhere.
But that for us has been it's like that's a job on its own, right? I'm preaching to the choir here. Instagram and social media is a job on its own that I gladly hand over to the experts, right? Because it takes so much thinking and planning and foresight and whew. But thank you guys. They've pulled us through, how we post, when we post, the kind of information that is in the post is now more critical kind of thing, the hashtags that you use, critical, because then that kind of starts to already, you use a good word, Michael, corral people, you're finding the like voices, the people who are appealing to things, Caribbean items, Caribbean accessories. We started streamlining the hashtags that we're using more and more. We started doing more reels, so now Instagram doesn't care about pictures anymore. So we had to kind of morph and, move to that point where reels are being created so, very often and being put out there. And that engagement, wow, that is now the hard part, that is now checking out, liking other people's, posts, right? And trying to engage a conversation. This social media and digital is so much more than just putting content out there. It is about drawing people in. It's about making them connect with your brand. It's about making them understand where you're coming from, and building. So it's like building a community before they even get to the site. Yay, right? It's like building that network, family even, before they even say, oh, Shop Caribe, what's that about, boy? Let me check it out. Kind of thing, right? It is a lot of, it's almost like a relationship you're trying to create, It's like, hey, look at me. Oh, I'm looking fancy today. I'm wearing this. And you have to, and that I think is very interesting, where we're at, where digital is taking us, people are, I would post something. So we started doing some lives, and I'll tell you, very unwillingly. I mean, Michael and Tamara kept, come on, you got to do a live. Come on. I'm like, because so many things can go wrong, right? But you know what? The things that can go right. And so I meet people now and they're like, oh yeah, I saw you live, I popped in. They didn't say for the, you popped in and you popped out kind of thing. But it's like, yeah, good, do it, So I heard about Shop Caribe and I went on the site. Yeah, looks good. So you're seeing more and more. It takes about 5 touches, 5 touches before people buy, and that is the critical thing. You see, Tamara is killing herself.
It's because I have to stop you. I have to stop you. Or listen, who is this? What have you done with Roxanne?
She sounded like a digital marketer.
I've been influenced. I've been influenced by some people, girl. By some people that influenced me.
And on that note, I'll take my exit.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining later. Bye. CFO Virtual.
Bye.
See you.
And Roxanne, I just want to tell you, if it's only 5 touch points, you are beating the averages. The average is normally 7 to 10 touch points. So you're actually beating the average.
And you've done really well with your lives, right? The lives, I remember even your first live, we saw a lot of your vendors popping in. We saw, I think you were even surprised. Oh, look, so this person is here. Yeah. So we saw where showing up for your brand really has an impact. And yes, the challenge was now putting it into your business process so that you could rinse and repeat every week on a regular basis.
Every week. Whoa,
but you've got a framework now that I think is works for you regardless of what you're trying to promote. So we've worked with a very specific, let's say, a framework for you, right? So we've looked at, yes, the advertising, not paid advertising, but we've also looked at landing pages. We've looked at the organic engagement on your social media as well. And this is where, we're talking the other side of your business in digital. And yes, that challenge of keeping that marketing engine moving. So how's that been going? I know it's been, as you said, you're growing in every single aspect of your business. So how's getting that business process now that you understand all the steps of that content creation and distribution? How's that feeling?
Good. Excellent. I mean, I think that as with everything, sometimes you need that third party perspective looking in on something. So you're going down the road, you're gunning it, right? Hey, we know what we're doing. You're going. But then, that little space that we were able to take where Monivan came in and you guys kind of do this overview. First step was our audit, where you're just kind of assessing everything, pulling back the curtain and saying, hey, what's going on here? What's going on there? And kind of assessing things. I think that was really very useful because it then showed us, some gaps, right? Some areas like, oh, so maybe we should really fix that, maybe we should add this to the site. Maybe we should, and there are tweaks that we can make. They weren't, onerous, difficult things. They were just things that maybe we did not see, in the day-to-day running. It wasn't in our purview. So the landing pages element, I thought, was really an exciting ad for us, because it was able to now help us to funnel people through, and then too, I mean, we've had all our ideas about design and layout and everything, but it just freshened it up, it just allowed us to just kind of make this thing connected all around, the synergies, right? Make it more holistic in its look and feel kind of thing. And so we're very thankful for that. The landing pages we've seen, and even things like there was a recommendation of adding our link tree to our Instagram, and that opened up, so where people didn't click on link in bio, they're wondering, it's like, that takes me off here. But here it has, Linktree now has allowed us to just kind of indicate very, very clearly, oh, you want to check this out? This was interesting to you? Go there, go there, go there, go there. so that people now feel a little more empowered about, finding that thing that was really particularly interesting to them. It's not just, don't just drop me on the homepage and leave me to wander around. Show me what I came here for. And more, it's that it feels like hand holding, but so what? Why not? It's more of a guided process. It's more about taking people through that sales funnel. Before it used to be like, oh, here's a sales funnel. Go do your thing, find your way down. But it's like now it's like, hey, let's just, gently hold your hand and pull you through. I'm really seeing some very interesting things coming for the holidays, this week I'm going to do a live with one of our vendors who does wearable art. So he takes clothing items for a second use and does painting all over them, right? So he's going to show some fashion pieces. So it's just about, we have to now kind of open our minds to what does this world have for us, right? How are we being sustainable? What are we doing? How are we taking care of this planet? And we want to be part of that conversation. So you have me on a live this week on Friday, even at 7 p.m. My goodness, what is happening here? What is happening
Where
here?
are the horns? Where are the horns? Where are the horns?
I have them hidden in my
Kudos. And, we're getting close to the top of the hour, so I really want to just jump into this last point. So there's one area of your digital infrastructure. We know that everyone that listens to us, it always evokes a lot of questions. It's a difficult sales tool, email marketing. And we've put something in place for you, but we've seen some results from it. But talk to us a little bit about that and, where you were mentally as far as email marketing. And now that you're looking at that North American marketplace, how email plays into it for you now.
Sure. We've been building our email database over the last 2 years, of course, right? And so we got to a point where we were trying to do an email blast every week using MailChimp. And we were more product oriented. Hey, check out this product, check out this product, check out this product. And we were seeing probably about a 20%, 21% open rate. But then we, in discussions with the team, and the movement was towards using Klaviyo. And we saw, and even the guidance from Jamila was about how to craft these email outreach pieces, so it's more of that relationship creation. It's more of that. It's not so much, here's this product is for you, you better take it. It's more about what do you need. It's more about, products that we have, it's about the range of things. It's about benefits. We go through, now the world is so much more interested in health and wellness. And so, products that have things that can boost your immunity, boost your, sense of well-being, things, we're seeing search, when we check to see what are the keywords that people are searching for, we're finding moringa and ginger, right? Lemongrass coming up high on the listings. And so we try to then work those kind of words into our newsletters, work it so the content becomes more interesting, more applicable, personal, applicable kind of thing, as opposed to, this product is for you kind of thing, So it was, again, it's that third party perspective, right? You need somebody to just kind of sometimes look at things and be able to say, oh, no, let's shake this up a little differently. You're on the right track, but we're gonna realign this car a little bit so that it works properly. So thank you guys for being that for us.
You're most welcome. And of course, it certainly placed you among other things, and all the kudos of doing what you're doing now. It places you as that cultural ambassador of the Caribbean, right? So that you're able to have Caribbean-centric conversations as far as commerce, as far as art and fashion and so on. And you're bringing the diaspora into that conversation. And diaspora, we are finding they're very interested. We've also seen where a simple abandoned cart sequence has worked, because then that goes to some of the touch points where people have browsed, they've dropped it, and they just got distracted, not that they didn't want to buy. So we've seen on some levels where that infrastructure, again, just that repurposing, redirecting, and of course, the content can go all these ways, right? So the content is being pushed out across all channels consistently. As you said, the challenge is getting into that flow, that side of the business process, because you've spent the first 2 years doing rightfully, building the vendors and the platform, right? So now you're switching gears. So great stuff. Love that you've been with us this morning. We're right at the top of the hour. I know Tamara has some, I know she's got some shocks this morning. We have a new digital marketer in the fold. Her name is Roxanne Colthrust, right?
I'm just saying, I mean, I'm like, what? But that's what we love, right? We love the same thing happened with Chef on Monday, right? We love when our businesses become digital marketers and start seeing the picture, right? Because what you talked about too, that I loved, is that you're listening to what's coming through search and you're using that as content because they're telling you what they're searching for. So now you're saying, hey, here's this information. So you're not making anything up, right? What we've been able to do with Shop Caribe was really just come in and optimize, right? Come in and optimize something, as you said, was already going really well. And we were able to say, okay, cool, let's pull back. We're tapping into the US audience. Right now, you're hitting 10% of the people. How do we get to getting more people? We ran Facebook advertising. We focused on reels. We focused on bringing a face to the brand. That was important, right? It was important for Roxanne to really step forward and let people hear exactly everything about the Caribbean, because you are that cultural ambassador. And then, this conversation that you're having about the economics of things and helping these micro businesses move forward, like it's another layer to the conversation as well that can become a content strategy. So I'm really excited that you are so on board and you see the picture, right? Because this is the picture that I saw 2 years ago in my mind, right? This is how you translate it into digital. And I think you guys are doing a really great job of doing that, right? So now we're at the top of the hour. So I am going to ask you, Roxanne, what advice would you give to anybody looking to translate their business into digital at this point? What would be that word of wisdom? And then for Q4, what's your Q4 word of wisdom? Because we know this is the time where people can make a lot of money. So what's your wisdom? What's your wisdom moving into digital? And what's that bit of wisdom for Q4 for any entrepreneur?
The wisdom is about, it's a simple, keep pushing. That sometimes you get up and you have a bad day, you have a bad month. Just keep pushing, because there is purpose in what you're doing. There is validity, importance in what you're doing. So you need to just keep going to the next level, keep pushing to the next day, keep pushing to the next moment. It's also about your personal wellness, finding those moments where you take time out, right? If you need to, if you feel yourself dragging, if you feel yourself draining, take those moments. Business people, entrepreneurs, we're up early, we're up late, and but find those, I call them those golden moments where it's about rest and relaxation and rejuvenation. But always just keep pushing on this entrepreneurial mindset and reel that you are on. You have an overall vision. You have it. You have an overall vision for your life and for your business. So just keep pushing towards it. For Q4, wow, we're expecting, we want to do some really big things. A lot of our vendors are ready. They're preparing things for Christmas. And of course, when we say Christmas, we're talking about end of November, right? Because you need to pick your items, add to cart, pay for them, so that we can start shipping those things out early December. But Q4 is about that Christmas celebration, but it's about that Caribbean spirit. Things made in the Caribbean just make your Christmas feel so much sweeter. So enjoy. And in fact, we're going to be doing, when you join our subscription on the site, you get something off. So who doesn't want that, right? When purchasing items, you can add that little promo code that gives you 10%, 15%, 20% off your sales. So Q4, here we come.
I think there was a rap song back in the day, Roxanne. man. So I'm going to pass it over to Michelle to say her last tidbit and ask her last question or frame up whatever she needs to frame up with Roxanne. Same to Michael. And then we will get out of here. Go for it, Michelle.
This has been an enjoyable Wednesday, Roxanne. It is normally a party of four here in this room, but it has been such a delight to have you in the space today to show our people here in our Your Business and Digital family how they can too bring their business forward and realize their dream, still in a very complicated way behind the scenes, but have it make sense in the way that it still is fun. It is serving your community and it's helping you to thrive and make your life and your dreams a reality in a fun and consistent way. So thank you for bringing that here and showing how to make sales happen with multiple things and make money from it in a good and seamless way. So thank you. I am here, as you guys know, Michelle Gordon with Lanyap. I'm here every Monday and Wednesday talking about sales and pricing and making it consistent, helping you to find your Lanyap, your something extra, and making it consistent and sustainable way. So this has been a joy. Off to you, Michael, because I know we're well past the top of the hour.
Yes, and my household is waking up, as you can see behind me. So we got to get out of here. Roxanne, thanks for joining us. It's been a pleasure, and it continues to be a pleasure to work with you all, to watch Shop Caribe grow. Unlimited potential for sure. And most importantly, it's been really great watching you translate more and more of your business into digital, because there's so many sides to it. There's, you have to market to your customers, you have to market to your vendors as well, right? So great job. You're a live star. So welcome, and thanks for playing along. Everyone, please do check out Shop Caribe, shopcaribe.com. Check them out on Instagram. Follow her, and definitely join for one of their live this Friday at 7 p.m. Sorry, I should say 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because it's 7 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time. Right? So thanks again. It's been great. I'm Michael Wiltshire. You can reach me at michael@monovandigital.com, or you can drop me a line at LinkedIn. Find me everywhere Monovan Digital is. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Roxanne, I'm going to ask you to tell the people who you are, how they can connect with you, and thank you so much for joining us today.
No problem. No problem. Well, thank you guys for having me. My first time on Clubhouse. So thank you so much for pushing us in this direction. ShopCaribe.com is my COVID baby, and we are excited to bring Caribbean-made products to the world. We're talking artisanal made, we're talking fashion, we're talking earrings, jewelry, you name it. Just available, easy access, 2-3 clicks, and you have it. Thank you so much. Bye, everyone.
Bye. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We know that, it's hard to translate your business into digital, but Roxanne showed you. I mean, she is talking like a digital marketer, and we love that. She talked about how she's optimizing, how they've optimized the site, how they're really looking at tapping into the US audience. She talked about Q4. She talked about really being consistent and persistent. Digital is not easy, and we recognize that. And that is exactly why we do this show, right? On this show, it is the true marriage of finance, sales and pricing, operations, and marketing. And we're looking at all those things as we move the Shop Caribe brand forward. So thank you so much for joining us. We will be back here on Monday. Monday, we're diving into some of our businesses a little bit and some of the things that we're doing. So we're really going to start opening up to showcase what we're doing, because we're also translating our businesses to digital as we move forward. So we're going to start off next week with going through and looking at Michelle and Andrea's businesses to see, what's going on behind the scenes. How are they doing that digital? So super excited to always be here with you guys. I'm Tamara Louis, founder of Monovan Digital Marketing Solutions, and we'll talk to you on Monday. Have an amazing, amazing Wednesday, guys. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.